For P5-7, my recommendation is that you have all the components, you have a mix and match of tools, do what you're comfortable with, but try this before you watch the rest of the video. This is one that lends itself to all of my individual components, so I will go that route on this one. And I will reintroduce the mate references if you haven't previously created mate references for your standalone individual pieces. Then this will be kind of a review of that. The pegs should have them. Um, the L bracket and the Z bracket will not. So I think I'll start with those. So give it a shot, and then go until you get stuck or have problems or get a little frustrated, and then watch the video and try again. So let's go ahead and fly this over here, and we can close 5-6. The C bracket is still there, and for this I do want to utilize a couple of the different ways that we get into the geometry, or get the components into the assembly. All right, so let's go ahead and add the mate reference first, and that is going to be on the lower edge. Reference geometry, mate reference, edge is selected, any orientation default. Those are good. We can try to make this more complicated. I've never had much success in making those more complicated than just align the face and align the hole for concentricity. And if I want to switch between, we'll go to the L bracket. And since the C bracket is up, we're not necessarily using it for this one. I don't think we're using it for the next one either, but I'll go ahead and add it, and when we activate the mate references, we get its folder and it goes to default. All right, so I'll go ahead and save that one, and then the C bracket, just so I have them, mate reference, everything looks good there. Get the folder, Control-7 for isometric, Control-S to save. All right, since I'm not using that one, I mentioned in the last one that I wanted to, since it was open, I wanted to do the split screen, and then I didn't do the split screen. So for this assembly, we'll do new, assembly, insert component. There are items open, so I won't get the automatic launch. I'm looking to do all of these with the individual components. So I hope that you're getting used to the rotate and the select. And if it turns out that you assemble in some other direction, some other orientation, that's fine. We'll deal with it in the drawing, or in the as a sub-assembly we bring it into the next level. All right, and I will go ahead and review the float. All right, so I just clicked out in the work area. My assembly origin is there, and my part origin is over there. So what I want to do is select, and I'm just going to go face to plane on these, front plane. We'll rotate over, top plane, rotate over. No, I don't want to flip the mate alignment, and to the right plane, and coincident. All right, that does the same thing as using the rotate context to rotate it about X, and then the accept puts it origin to origin. So if I look at the origin of the assembly and the origin of the part, well, I missed by a little bit because it rotated opposite on the top mate. So if I really wanted to, I could reverse that, but it's going to probably bark at me. So let's see what happens if I flip. And now I know which ones are the affected components, and then I would need to, ah, it turned it right back around. So don't know that there's any advantage or um, reason to keep fighting that one. So we're gonna go ahead with what I got. Um, I don't know. There are ways to suppress the right plane and then go back in, adjust it, because it's doing it in sequence and it's modifying both of them at the same time. All right, so if I tile horizontally, that is going to be pretty narrow. So let's tile vertically. And then the first is going to be the Z bracket, which is all the way on the right. So I'm going to try to zoom up on that. Now, if I didn't have the mate references, I could just grab that and go to there, but notice I did that kind of quick. Notice it did not give me the stack of marshmallows. It gave me the planar face and the marshmallow. So that's kind of all right. I can go with that. All right, so that takes care of that one. If I wanted to, let's go with the parallel. I was getting ready to lock the rotation, but I think that's on the. I would do better on the pegs. All right, so Control Select, and that one snaps into place. And select, and coincident or parallel, whichever one you prefer. If I split the windows again by tiling vertically, then we'll drag, and I didn't quite zoom that one in place, but there's a little better picture of the the plane and the bore rather than the what I've been calling the marshmallows. So let's see, I did not get a parallel on that one, so I'll just go into the mate and parallel and OK. All right, now if I remember correct, and it came in that direction, since I put the mate reference down here, and there isn't a mate reference on the quad plate, I really don't expect it to do a whole lot, but it is picking up the planer, so I will take that. Don't know what you're gonna get until you try it. So let's put that one in place. I could lock the rotation, which kind of got away from me there. And we'll stay with the parallel. And that does not look like theirs. Oh, so I went the wrong way. My stack is a little bit off. All right, so how do I correct for this in the stack? So the L bracket, because I did the drag and drop, is going to be under the coincident mate. So let's see what happens here. I'm expecting errors, and videos that don't have any errors don't really do a good job of teaching you anything. So if I take the L bracket and delete that face, so delete on the keyboard or right click and delete. Clear selection takes everything. You don't necessarily want. All right, so that was interesting. It was not terrible, but well, let's see what we can do with our other mates. So parallel and flip mate alignment. So that's a little bit closer. And then the last one is to flip the mate alignment. All right, so that looks a little bit better and matches the picture. So if you need to, you delete those mates. But part of the logic is you've established those. They are technically correct. Aside from the first selection I made, if I work through that process, I can I can uh, build on that toolbox of this is how these mates are working, and those errors don't bother me, the conflicts don't bother me. I I can resolve them. All right, so we need to insert component. It's not going to be either one of those. We're going to go into the peg. I'm going to go ahead and pick the 10 by 20. Since this one highlights, I can go ahead and hit the tab. And if it doesn't update automatically or right away, we'll move around a little bit and then place it. All right, so no one's cooperating. So tab. So that is the select, and if you have figured out the sequence, that will save you some time. If not, we go back through the mates and we add them as we need them. All right, so one of the reasons that I like the mate references and we go through these extra steps is that it's one less thing that I have to think about. It becomes part of my workflow and I can go through it fairly quickly. Let's see, that looks like, what was that one? Did I duplicate one? Okay, so that was to the L bracket. I only need 4 mates because I only have 4 pins. And lock rotation. So adding it to the L bracket isn't really going to hurt anything. At least I don't think so. Let's check. Rotation is already locked for all eligible entities or all mates. So it says, yeah, you could do that, but no, I'm not going to let you. All right, no big deal there. All right, let's see what we can do with the explode view. And we'll rotate over, and I want the bottom to be the stationary item. So we'll drag those out a little ways. Control 7, maybe bring that back to 60. And done. Now this would be kind of interesting, so let's go with the peg, the Z bracket, the peg, the Z bracket, the peg, and the L bracket. And we extend those out. Let's see what it looks like at 50. And that's not looking too bad. There's a lot to calculate there, so it may want to catch up. All right, a little more separation. Let's see what that looks like at 30. All right, I'm okay with that. And then when we get to that point, we'll jump over to the configuration tab, expand out next to the default, expand out to the exploded view, hit my isometric, and since I have not named this, then we will go to P5-7 and call that our assembly.